WXII 12 News at 5 starts right now.
House Republicans are expected to vote on an immigration bill today, what it might include and why Democrats are not on board.
He was there just doing his job.
An unusual discovery at the New Atlanta Baseball Stadium. The body of a man found in a freezer at that facility, why officials aren't sure if something suspicious happened.
A man is found dead in the middle of the road, why police are now asking the community for your help.
Hey, good Wednesday morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Devontae McKenna.
And I'm Brianna Connor, in for Kimberly Vanscoy. We're going to check in here at the Minute. Yeah. She's actually at our first stop of the summer food drive. She's going to join us in just a few minutes with info on how you can make a donation, even if you aren't able to dig out to Wilkesboro. Hey, Kim.
First at 5 though, let's check with meteorologist Brian Slocum. Good morning to you, Brian.
Good morning, guys. Dry morning for Kim, so that's good. I don't have to feel that wrath later today. We had a little bit of rain in our western counties yesterday, including out in Wilkes County. A few thunder boomers rolled through, but it was mostly showers for much of the day. That quick mover came through about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Things settled down for the most part after that, although we had some late evening rain in those areas. Triad had that early rain and then kind of a donut hole kind of developed overhead. We kind of kept the rain away from much of it, other than some drizzly weather, some small misty raindrops. We haven't seen very much. Some of that's still around this morning, and looking west, we have a line of dying storms that's beginning to move into Knoxville and Chattanooga on the eastern side of Tennessee. We'll see if that holds together long enough. Typically this time of day, if they start to fade already, they likely will fall apart long before they reach the high country. Maybe a few showers, that's it. Visibility actually has improved in Greensboro. It's doubled, as a matter of fact. It was down at 3 miles last hour. 6 miles of visibility currently at PTI Airport. Temperatures still cool and comfortable this morning. We're in the mid-60s at the airport, 68 at Smith Reynolds Airport in Winston-Salem. Warm spot, at least one of them anyway. Mount Airy, Lexington, upper 60s this morning. Your Triad forecast, rain chances low early, but again, some drizzle, some fog on the windshield this morning. By noon, we're near 80. By lunchtime, we're in the mid-80s, or mid-afternoon, I should say, we're in the mid-80s, with a good chance for showers and storms later on today. 50-50 chance we'll see a few storms. Some of those could be a little bit rough. We'll talk more about severe possibilities coming up in just a few minutes.
New details overnight as Burlington police try to figure out what led to a man's death.
That's right. They have a lot of questions and not much evidence to go off of. Mallory Lane joins us now with what we've learned so far. Mallory.
Well, police think he was hit by a car, but right now they don't know the exact cause of death. They found 76-year-old James Hando just before 10 o'clock last night on South Mebane Street near Trail 8. Police need your help to figure out what happened to him. If you witnessed what happened or if you have any information about it, call the police department or Crime Stoppers. Right now, police say there is no vehicle information to work with. Reporting in the studio, Mallory Lane, WXII 12 News.
Mallory, thank you. 5:03 this morning. Terrifying video out of Clemens. A car bursting into flames on I-40 at Louisville Clemens Road. Thankfully, the driver was able to escape without any injuries. A woman says she started seeing smoke come from underneath the hood of that car, and so she pulled over and got out just in time. Wow, it turns out the 2004 Buick was under a recall.
A Virginia man who killed a 13-year-old girl and dumped her body in Surry County will spend 50 years in prison. A judge sentenced David Eisenhower yesterday. Investigators say he convinced Nicole Lovell to climb out of her bedroom window in Blacksburg, Virginia, before taking her to the woods in Surry County and stabbing her to death. Eisenhower was a student at Virginia Tech at the time.
Family and friends are remembering Anthony Davis Jr. He would have turned 30 years old this week. Davis Jr. was shot and killed while sitting in a car on North Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in Winston-Salem last year. A vigil was held last night to honor him and celebrate life, love, and the community. His mother says seeing that her son has not been forgotten helped ease her pain.
To see that so many people care. They don't even know you, but they care about you genuinely and sincerely. And that makes you feel kind of good.
Police have arrested Rashawn Lee in connection to the murder of Davis Jr.
UNC Chapel Hill is accused of a major violation this morning. Federal civil rights authorities say the university failed to comply with the Title IX anti-discrimination law because of the way it handled sexual assault and harassment complaints. This decision comes after a 5-year investigation. In a letter, authorities say the school did not adopt and publish proper grievance procedures for the resolution of sexual discrimination complaints. UNC did not admit to any violation, but did agree to make some changes.
Looking ahead this morning at 5:05, a voter ID amendment is now one step closer to being on North Carolina's midterm ballot. It was approved by the House yesterday, and now it moves to the Senate. If it clears that hurdle, the proposed amendment will be on the November ballot. The public will then decide whether North Carolina voters would have to show photo ID at the polls. Republicans say this would stop voter fraud. Democrats say it is unfair and targets minority voters.
Now to our Washington newsroom. A federal judge in California has ordered U.S. border authorities to reunite children with their families. At the same time, lawmakers are expected to vote on immigration legislation. Jennifer Davis joins us now with the very latest. Jennifer.
Hi there, Brianna. Good morning to you. We are expecting a showdown vote in the House today over this GOP immigration bill. Democrats will solidly vote against it, and now it's looking like Republicans will too. You can take a live look at the Capitol this morning. House GOP leaders have been fighting hard to craft a compromise between their party's conservatives and moderates, but at this point, passage seems unlikely, and they're expecting to move on to a more narrow bill aimed at preventing family separations. This as a federal judge in California ordered authorities to reunite separated children with their parents, and 17 states sued the Trump administration to do the same. They're alleging families are being denied due process, something Democratic lawmakers who've seen the crisis firsthand agree about. Now, the First Lady says she will be heading back to the southern border this week, but at this point, her spokesperson has not released any details about where or when. Brianna?
Or what she'll be wearing, probably. All right, Jennifer, before you go, the Health and Human Services Secretary testified before a Senate committee about the challenges authorities are facing as they try to reunite separated families. What did he have to say?
Yeah, so this is Alex Azar, and he said they just can't reunite families right now while they're in custody because there's a court order that dictates that children cannot be held for more than 20 days. So he says Congress needs to fix that law. But when Democrats asked him, well, then how long would children be held in these facilities, he refused to answer that question. He did also say it is proving difficult and taking time to vet adults who are in custody to try and connect them with the children and confirm that they really are the parents.
Lots of challenges and uncertainty. All right, Jennifer, thank you for that update. As mentioned, 17 states are suing the Trump administration, including North Carolina. The lawsuit alleges that the administration violated migrant families' constitutional right to due process by separating them without proving that the parent poses a threat to the child. Immigration authorities have separated about 2,300 children from their parents recently. Every state in the suit has a Democratic attorney general. Last week, the president issued an executive order to end the separation practice.
At 5:08 this morning, the Supreme Court is upholding President Trump's travel ban on mostly Muslim countries. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the majority opinion for the 5-4 decision, saying the president has substantial power to regulate immigration. Justice Sonia Sotomayor was against that decision and said, quote, a reasonable observer would conclude the ban was motivated by anti-Muslim animus. The ban applies to travelers from 5 countries where a majority of the populations are Muslim. This includes Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen. Next this morning, researchers at Duke University believe they have made a stunning discovery, why they say the polio virus could help patients fighting brain cancer.
And good morning, I'm Kimberly Van Scoy, live in Wilkesboro at the Chick-fil-A. We are taking donations today for the Second Harvest Food Bank. I'm going to tell you why it is so important for you to donate in the summer and ways that you can give if you can't make it here.
.516 on this Wednesday. We are in Wilkesboro this morning for the first stop of the summer food drive.
Yeah, something we look forward to every year. We're working again with the Second Harvest Food Bank to help local families in need. Our Kimberly Van Scoy is live at the Chick-fil-A on 421. And Kim, have you gotten that first donation yet?
We have not, but obviously it's very early, and this is the first of 5 food drives that we're going to be doing this summer throughout the month of June and July. So we do hope that you will stop by at one of the 5. I'm here with Joe Killar from the Second Harvest Food Bank. As you mentioned, we are at the Chick-fil-A in Wilkesboro. You know, a lot of times people think about donating around Christmas because they're in the giving spirit, but the summertime is really a time when food donations are desperately needed.
Oh yes, summertime is a great, very needy time because we have a lot of kids who rely on free and reduced lunches during the school year that they get at school. So right now here in Wilkes County, we have around 79% of the students relying on those programs, and now they're at home, and we're trying to feed them as well.
So 79%, that's a lot of children in need, and their families are also in need, obviously.
Oh yes, of course. That need does not just include the children, that includes their parents, their grandparents, the whole family.
So what are some of the things that would be great to donate for kids?
If anybody wants to come out today, they can bring anything that kids like to eat, peanut butter and jelly, anything, fruits and things that are wonderful and healthy, but also things that foods that kids can prepare themselves. Say their parents are still at work and they're at home, they have to find food for themselves.
Great advice. All right, and we're going to talk about some ways that you can give if you can't make it out here today coming up. But first, I'm going to toss it into Brian. Brian, this morning is absolutely perfect. I brought a jacket. I don't need it. It was raining on the way here, but it's not anymore. So I'm pretty happy about that.
I'm glad you're happy, because when you're happy, I'm a lot happier too. Yeah, we have we have temperatures that are feeling very good out there, Kim. 66 degrees currently in Wilkesboro, where you are located. Winds are calm. Again, dew points are coming up a little higher, and as temperatures start to heat up, it won't feel as comfortable as it did yesterday. We had a high of 75 degrees. It'll be about 10 degrees warmer today. A little fog just north of Kim's location, looking in more at Ashe into Allegheny County, but northern parts of Wilkes County too, seeing some reduced visibility this morning. Temperatures mid to upper 60s over the area today. Comfortable, but certainly there is enough water in the air to make it feel uncomfortable once we get into the 80s later today. Best chance for impactful weather will be from storms, and that will be late day evening, early evening time frame. Temperatures maxing out somewhere in the mid 80s today as we get a return of a southwest wind over the area. It always comes back. It's never away for very long in the summertime here in the Piedmont Triad. Foothills too, high of 84. I think it's more of an afternoon and early evening storm threat as well. Temperatures by lunchtime should be around 79 degrees, and across the mountains, mid to upper 70s later this afternoon, with a chance for storms that could flare up as early as lunchtime today. So that's what we'll be watching for. A few showers possible this morning from an area of rain that's just in this area here in portions of Tennessee. Slight risk for severe weather there. We are under what we call a marginal risk or slightly elevated risk for severe weather, mostly from some damaging wind gusts, and that does include the entire area. I don't think thunderstorms will be too prevalent today, but we will have a few around for the next day, possibly two going forward. You can see it coming through this evening. Nothing too terrible. Watch that line developing later this evening too across the western county. It seems to be where the battle zone is flaring up. Tomorrow, I've got an isolated chance for a shower. It's limited to about 20%, but it is there with temperatures returning to the 90s. I think the rain chances get squeezed south for Friday through the weekend. I've got a dry forecast, but certainly a much hotter forecast going forward. A little better chance for rain than not going into that first week plus of July, but hot weather will return across really the eastern two-thirds of the country. We'll feel it here too, roasting with temperatures in the low to mid 90s, and even morning lows Sunday and Monday don't drop past the mid 70s.
520 new this morning, an odd discovery at Atlanta's new baseball stadium. A man's body was found inside a walk-in freezer at that facility yesterday. Police believe the man showed up to work earlier that day for an overnight shift. It is still too early, though, to tell if something criminal is involved. Investigators are still waiting for autopsy results as well.
From there, they'll decide if it is a homicide or accidental suicide. There's many avenues that it could go, but at this time, we're just gathering information.
The name of that man has not yet been released.
And in New Jersey, a body was found inside the home of NFL player Janoris Jenkins. The New York Giants say Jenkins was in Florida when the body was discovered. The cause of death isn't clear, but police are investigating this as a homicide. Jenkins played 4 seasons with the Rams and the last 2 seasons with the Giants.
Researchers at Duke University believe the polio virus might help brain cancer patients live a bit longer. They injected a modified form of that virus into the aggressive brain tumors of 61 people with stage 4 cancer. They found that the virus helped 20% of patients live at least 3 years after diagnosis. One patient survived 6 years. Well, next this morning, police in High Point and Greensboro are starting their summer safety campaigns this week. What you need to know this morning in order to avoid getting that speeding ticket. Right now, it is 5:22.